How's it going, people? I'm Zephyros, and welcome to my channel. So today's going to be a hero spotlight video on Ardea. Incredible hero. So I'm going to show you what makes her so good and show you where I use her and where you can use her to help you progress through the game. So let's get into it. So before we look at Ardea's kit and her stats and all of this, right? I think I really want to acknowledge just how good her overall aesthetic is. Like I think the developers have done a really good job actually with her design. I think she looks so cool. I think I love the whole spinning blades, her throwing them, bringing them back. Like there's no other heroes who do this kind of thing, right? So I think it's such a cool design. I hope they have more kind of things like that in the game that add more heroes like that with that kind of that unique element. Um, so yeah, love that. I've been really lucky with Ardea, like crazy lucky here. So as you can see, I've got her at A4. That's with no soul stones. That is, I've just pulled her 5 times. Crazy lucky. This banner was actually really good to me. If I show you, managed to pull her here and there. Actually in the same spot. And that was I did pull a fair few since got Pelagius there. So last Lord that I actually pulled was an Eovar. Um, so yeah, I got pretty lucky, right? To pull her twice to get her to A4. So I had her on A2 before the this banner. But I'm really hopeful that loads of people managed to pull her. And I'm assuming that there's going to be people out there who pulled her who might not know how to build her to get the most out of her. And hopefully, after watching this video, you'll take something away from it. So, in order to kind of break down what makes her so good, first you've got to look at her kind of her attributes, right? So, her cost 17, right? So, 17 cost for a hero like Ardea is actually really low, really low because of how much damage she's capable of doing. Her base attack here it's at 8,276. Now, it's important to remember that because I've awakened her past A2, I get an extra plus 300 attack. So at her base level should be 7,976, right? Still crazy high as an attack, right? To give you some perspective, the next highest base attack in the game is actually Salazar. So bearing in mind, at her A2, she's 8.276, right? Salazar is 6.825. She's like a clear 1.4k higher base attack. So one of the best things about Ardea is she's so forgiving when it comes to building her. Um, if you don't have the best attack rolls in some of your pieces, you can get away with it a little bit up to a certain point with Ardea just because her base attack is so high. She's one of those few heroes where for PvE content, you can get away with building her in crit damage. For PvP, I wouldn't really advise it. PvP kind of this applies to most or pretty much all heroes. Just attack. Attack should always be main set. So I actually build her in attack because I use her in a lot of PvP content. So I have a built-in attack, in attack, in attack. You can see I'm farming at the moment, so all these pieces are coming through. Again, attack substats. So yeah, it's one of those things where really and truly you should be building it. So building her with throwing out attack. So this is my build on her, right? So I've got her in 33.4k attack. Um, Obviously crit capped. Where possible, I get the crit damage in the substats. Try and get her decently quick as well, so at 1.3 attack interval. So yeah, that's how I've kitted her out. I've obviously given her a bit of extra raid regen, just so she's ulting a bit quicker as well. So what we'll do is we'll go into her skills now. So we'll look at her talent first, right? So her talent is basically every time she does a basic attack, there's a 1 in 4 chance that she'll throw forward one of her blades, and she'll basically get rage regen. So she'll restore 10 rage, and the first time she hits people, she hits them for massive 240% damage. All right, so Her talent just helps her increase her damage. Then we'll look at her basic attack. So her basic attack is she'll deal 120% once skilled up, 120% damage to up to 7 targets one time. Now, somewhere where I always see people kind of get the wrong idea here is they see 7 enemies and they think this means she does AoE damage. She does not do AoE damage. So a big mistake that a lot of people make is that they try and put her in an Eye of Sin because of the AoE damage. Don't. Her damage counts as single target 7 times to 7 different people, right? So yeah, technically it should really be AoE, but it's not. It does not work. So you're better off building her in a Frigid Flame or a Realm Tear because they're just better for her, right? So that's the first thing. Her passive. So as her health kind of reduces, which actually synergizes with her ultimate, so, which I'll show you, as her health reduces, the chance of her triggering um, her talent basically increases. So once she gets below 30% HP, it then goes from 25% a 1 in 4 chance to a 1 in 2 chance. So she starts hitting much more often, and she's doing a lot more damage when she's doing that. And when she brings the blade back, it increases her speed, so she starts hitting even faster, right? Then you've got the next part of her build, which is if she hits the same person twice, within that 5 seconds, she then starts to do bleed and she starts to do more damage. So the more she's hitting, the more she's doing these extra hits, the more she's putting bleed on opponents. So she starts racking up damage massively. But then the real damage comes in her ultimate. So her ultimate is not even that expensive, right? 600 rage. So she cycles through it relatively quickly, especially if you've got her built with rage regen and she's hitting quickly with an attack speed, high attack speed as well, right? So once she enters this frenzy state, as if her attack isn't high enough, right? She then increases it by 50%. But then she starts to reduce her HP. Now, the reason that's good is because remember here, when her HP is reduced, she then starts proccing her talent more often. So she's hitting with higher attack and she's doing it more often, right? And she's every time her talent gets procced. So if you've got her below 30% and she's proccing 1 every 2 hits, she's throwing her blades twice. So she starts slamming, like absolutely slamming heroes once she gets into a role. So if you're in guild versus guild and things like that, you do not want to be sending demon soldiers up against Ardea when she's in her role because she will just absolutely slap them. Right. So incredible kit, incredible kit. And so now the question is, how does it translate into the actual game? Well, the answer is simple, very well. She is usable in so many areas of the game. So you've got Gear Aid 1. She is a monster in Gear Aid 1, all right? So I use her in my speed run. So I'll show you, right? So Gear Aid 1, I'll just throw it on auto just so you can see. My my Boreas actually isn't built. I've got him in like crit damage pieces, which you would never do on a mage. But he's just in leftover Aegis Wrath gear. So as you can see, I place Ardea first, and because she's in that range, she's just hitting the boss straight away. Straight off the bat, look at the damage she's just doing. Karmit's obviously throwing up a little damage in there as well, but she's killing this boss before and now she goes into her ult, so she's killing this boss before he even gets a chance to heal anyone. So now it's just a matter of mages doing the rest. So Boreas is literally here just as a meme, really. I haven't even got him in a damage build. He's just there because I had a space to do it. Really and truly, it's going to be Karmit doing most of the damage, and Ingrid is mopping up in this comp. But you can see Ardea is doing huge amounts of damage. So anyone who comes into this middle lane, they just get absolutely wiped by Ardea. And Cerberus is just here to, again, help mop up, right? So this is what just makes it a quicker run because I don't need to worry about heals. I don't need to worry about any of that, right? So I'll show you the damage that Ardea basically does. And bearing in mind, she's only handling one lane. All these other guys, they're hitting all three across all 3 lanes. So they should be doing a lot better, right? But no, that's not how it works here. Ardea is out hitting all of them, right? The damage she does is just bonkers. Just hitting one lane, she's out hitting everybody else who can access all the lanes. So that just goes to show you just how much damage she actually does, right? So next area of the game where sh- she's entirely usable is Gear Dungeon 2. So I don't actually have her in my Gear Dungeon 2 setup just because I use Edith. But I'll just quickly show you. I've actually got a video on Gear Dungeon 2 where I do show it in between, but I'll just show you where you could use her, right? So um, I actually still have it set up in the manual from when I did that video. But what you would do is you'd have someone who can hold back this little gargoyle that does loads of area damage. And so you set up Ardea at the back behind the tank, and you basically have to keep the gargoyle away. Well, actually, technically, you don't. I just realized, no, I don't use Edith in this setup. I actually use Ardea, I use Volker in that setup. But the idea is that you would put Volker here, you would trigger Pelagius's ult quicker, you'd trigger it around here, and then she can reach and she'll hit. Right, so that's where you would do it. So if you want to know how to use Ardea in this setup, you can actually just look at my Gear Dungeon 2 video. You can alternatively actually set Ardea up here behind a tank to handle that lane as well. So she's got massive utility here as well, just because of the level of damage that she does, and it's the perfect setup because they all come down that one lane, whether it comes from the right or whether it comes from the left lane. They're all coming down one lane, so perfect for Ardea. Um, then the next area is where she shines, arena. So one thing I didn't show you in her kit, right, and that I probably should have showed you, is if you look at her skills, she's got an arena mastery, which is that it reduces her cost. So as if 17 wasn't cheap already, you now reduce it by 5. She's so good. Honestly, such a good um good hero and for such good cost. So unfortunately, she's no longer meta in the AoE just because Ingrid is that good, right? So if I show you my defense teams, Ingrid and Praetus, they've taken over, right? But if you don't have Ingrid and you're trying to climb the ranks and you're trying to get into Overlord, you're trying to get push just to the edge of Apex, I'll show you what you can do, right? So say you've got Valdor or Garn, you could actually use Elder or Haas just for the Northerner bonus as well. So I would use that. Where's Valk gone? There she is. Then you'd need um someone like Cerberus as early cost, and then you'd need someone like a Cyrene. Actually, no, you wouldn't. In this setup, you wouldn't. What you would do is you'd put someone like Carnelian or someone like Dosomi to basically just keep them alive if they don't kill quick enough. So what you do is first thing you do is you're going to put down your Ardea, right? So put her down there so that she's able to hit all the way across, right? So she's going to take care of these guys, no problem. And what you're going to do is you're going to just wait till about 5, and you need to slow it down, right, so that you can place Cerberus in time. Place Cerberus down here, and now you can just whack it on 2x. This is just to show you how you'd use her, right? So Cerberus will handle that, and now you're just waiting for cost, right? So she's going to just absolutely slap up until this point, right? Then you're going to trigger Cerberus's ult, and he's going to handle all of that quite comfortably, all right? So then now you would place Valk, and because she's in her ult, she's already handled a lot of the heroes here. You can take Cerberus away now, right? And you can put Cornelian there just to keep Ardea alive, because one thing Ardea can do is she can end up killing herself because she's put herself down to such low health. So you have to always make sure you do pair her with a healer That's actually pretty important. But overall, so you can see that they're doing pretty early kills. So when you're going up against people who are waiting for them to come out here, for these mobs to come out here, you're going to be killing so much quicker than everybody else. Obviously, Ingrid changes that, but look how early we just killed. Those things literally just came out, and Ardea's already handled them, right? And the best bit is there. Did you see she does the double hit? So she kills Valk's lane before Valk can even touch them. That's how good she is, right? So there's no denying how good Ardea is in this arena, but Ingrid is just better, which is why Ingrid is the meta. But if you don't, like I said, if you don't have Ingrid, you just put Cerberus behind, just to add a few slows. But yeah, if you don't have Ingrid, then she is an incredible option to have. Um, so yeah, so that's the arena. You can literally just leave it now, and they will just handle the end. So we're already on wave 7, right? So these guys are not sure, they're not, there's no sign of them struggling when it comes to survivability and things like that, right? So definitely viable in AoE arena. She's she's actually really good in single target arena. She's not like the meta hero, but she is definitely viable, right? So that was the full 8 waves, completely handled that really comfortably. So you're not going to get into the top 100 of Apex because of Ingrid, but you could definitely push if you've got these heroes. Obviously, this isn't exactly an FTP friendly lineup with Valder on there, but it's if you've got these two here and Cerberus, you can do it. You can do it. Whether if you could use it with a Haas, you could use it with an Elder, you could use it with Garn, with Valdron, because they all give that Lord bonus because she's a Northern faction and Chaos faction. She benefits from the Lord bonus of both, so really useful there. Okay. Um, then next area where you can use it, you can use her in single target, but she's more as a supplementary damage dealer, not like part of the main team. But again, there are better teams out there. On the offense, I actually find that the Arbiter teams are better. On the defense, actually, so I need to update my team really. But on the defense, chaotic teams are the best when it comes to Apex Arena. Um, so yeah, that's the arena. Next, Conqueror's Immortal Codex. She is so good, so good, right? So bearing in mind this run that I've done here, I literally just threw it on auto. I threw it on auto, just left it because I just couldn't be bothered to fine tune it. So obviously Cerberus is the king of this Immortal Codex. Cerberus is the king, right? But look at the damage she's chucking out. She's she will you just leave her in the top. I'll just quickly show you where I actually line them up. I won't show you the whole run just because it gets a bit long. But so yeah, look, I've set her up there. So I just leave her to handle that lane on her own. She'll handle it comfortably. Cerberus in the middle, and then Garn and Valderon out here, just handling this lane, and Valk and Cerberus here with Constance just trying to boost everyone with her invigoration. So it's yeah, it's fairly straightforward actually. Again, not really FTP friendly, but again, some of these heroes you will have them, and Cerberus is an unsung hero in this one as well. But I will at some point probably make a video on Cerberus. But yeah, so again, she's viable at the highest levels. Like this is a triple S run that I get with her. Obviously not this one because I just left. But I always get her in a triple S on an auto here. So again, so viable. The other areas of the game where you would be using her are obviously Northern Faction Trial. Really good. I put her up in the top left, facing down, hidden behind Haas, King Haas. So again, really useful at handling that. And the place where I think, for me, the place where I use her the most is Guild versus Guild. So obviously in Mad we take Guild versus Guild really seriously. We love it, we enjoy it. So I've got her in my setup. She is incredible, absolutely incredible. The only drawback to her is that one, yet she does need a lot of HP. You have to build in Guild vs. Guild. You need to try and chuck on as much HP as you can to her because otherwise she's going to get rushed and she's going to die, right? So you need that, and then obviously you need good air support units because she only hits the ground, right? So that's why I use Pelagios for a bit of crowd control with his vortexes. He throws out a bit of magic damage as well. Because obviously Ardea is throwing out physical damage. So I've got magic damage and air, and then I've got air again with physical damage in Eovar. So I'm just covering all the bases there, and then it's my Pelagios who's giving me that bit of crowd control as well. So yeah, that's those are the areas where Ardea really, really shines, right? And important to note that she's completely viable in places like campaign and places like your promotions and things like that. But just remember to pair her with a healer to keep her alive, right? She's also amazing in Void Rift. I use her in most areas of Void Rift as well. Um, and I didn't actually show you her awakening, so let me just quickly run you through those. Okay, so on her A1, when she deals damage, she just inflicts a defense reduction. It's the small version, 10%. But listen, with her level of attack and how high she's hitting, this makes a big difference, right? Her A2 just straight up 300 attack, really useful. Her A3, every time she's in that frenzied state where she's just hitting quicker, every time she kind of kills someone, she she just extends her run. So she's just hitting harder and faster for longer and longer. So she kills 10 people, which most of the areas of the game, you're putting her in places where she's killing a ton of people and quickly. She's just extending her frenzy state. So really, really useful, right? A4, as if her attack isn't high enough already, she just ignores 8% of their defense. Just 8% penetration. Incredible. And then her A5, every time she releases and returns her blade, just restoring rage. So she's going into her frenzied state much, much quicker. It's really important to note with all of her attacks, they're considered enhanced basic attacks. So she massively benefits from Infernal Roar, right? Because obviously this increases basic attack damage 40%, where her ultimate is just an enhanced basic attack. It just means that she is slapping much, much harder because of that 40% bonus. So her ultimate benefits from it as well. So make sure that you are kind of trying to build her in Infernal Roar if you can. Obviously, Soulbound Arcana is not going to be a bad option either, but I do think Infernal Roar is her best set. All right, so yeah, that's my thoughts on Ardea. That's how I build her. Those are the areas of the game where I use her. So hopefully watching this video has actually given you some useful insight into Ardea. So I will be releasing more videos on other heroes. If there are any heroes that you actually want me to kind of focus on and do a spotlight on, please just comment below and I will get back to you and I'll try and do it as well. So yeah, I've been Zephyros. Hopefully catch you guys soon. Stay blessed.